Andy, dude, this conversation it means a lot to me because I think more than just your music with SAOR, like so many others, I feel like you're drawing to the spirit and essence of like just deeper things than just like really good music. And I connect with that. So like anytime I'm listening to your music, man, I get little notions where I'm like, oh, dude, like I gotta like see, I gotta see what's in his mind and like go a little bit deeper. So I am really grateful and excited for this conversation, man. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. Don't worry, there's not a lot going on in my mind, to be honest. It's
Yeah,
quite empty.
yeah, that could be a good thing, man. You're getting everything out.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Excellent, man. So the album is out. How are you feeling?
Fine, good, relieved. It's
Yeah,
it's out and been sitting on it for, a good year and a half almost.
yeah,
So it's I know it's pretty fresh to everyone else, but it's old to me.
yeah.
So but it's nice. It's nice to be out and it's nice to play the new songs live.
Mm. Do you ever find like, because I know when you're writing an album, you like listen to a song, you'll listen to each song like 10,000 times.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever like, have you ever like put on one of your songs because you're trying to like listen to it again, make sure it sounds good, and you just go, I gotta take a break. Like, I gotta take like a week and not listen to anything right now.
Yeah. I did that during the mastering process. I decided to not listen to it for at least a week or two. Because when you over listen to your own music, you're gonna always find issues and things you want to change. So, um, you need to, yeah, take a break, take a step away for a while, and then come back to it, and it's a little bit more fresh to your ears. Because if you keep listening to it over and over, as I said, you end up wanting to change everything. Even the album's out now, and I still want to change things, but it's unfortunately the negative point of being a musician, I guess.
Yeah. Have you, I was also curious too. I know like obviously every artist and everything approaches music differently, but have you ever had moments when you're writing something and especially like a song that might be more than uh maybe more than telling a story, maybe it's something really personal. Have you ever had like moments where there's like an emotional release or like maybe you're singing and you kind of feel like an overwhelming of emotion in a song that you're writing? Like maybe does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, it's like it is a release, like I'll enjoy songwriting, I enjoy creating music, and that's how I get my, you know, I guess emotions out, maybe if you want to say that.
Hmm.
But I'm not sitting at my computer crying or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
I,
yeah, I get what you mean. It's a way of expressing yourself and emotions, and yeah, I think would probably agree with you there. But um, I just enjoy writing music,
yeah.
and
Yeah, that's cool, man. I was just curious because I know sometimes like music comes from like a place of interest and a place and sometimes I know things can come out of deep parts of you. And sometimes, I've heard where people can be like, "Oh my God, like I didn't realize me writing this out or singing out this part was like deeper than just writing lyrics or whatever."
yeah, I don't get too emotionally attached to the songs, to be honest, when I'm playing them live. I
Yeah.
just try and like focus on playing the songs, but obviously in it you use a lot of Scottish poetry and stuff like that in the lyrics, so it's it's got a lot of meaning behind it. It's got a lot of history behind it. It's I've got a connection, obviously, living here and
Yeah.
growing up around the amazing landscapes and the history, etc. So yeah, but I'm a very I don't want to say I'm unemotional by any means, but I like to just you know, I use my music to get that kind of stuff out. And when I'm
Oh,
playing live, as I said, I don't think too much that way playing live. I just try and enjoy it because I used to get really nervous playing live, and I felt that when I did get too much into my head, and think about stuff like that and everything else that surrounds playing live, I used to get really nervous and I would get so frustrated. And now I just go in with the mindset of enjoy yourself.
mhm.
And if something fucks up, then who cares? It's,
Yeah.
as long as you're putting your best effort into what you're doing, people can see that. So yeah, that's my approach for, music as a whole, I guess. I just try and enjoy it. And it's a lot different from when I was writing when I was younger, obviously. Maybe what you're describing was a lot more when I was younger. I was more that way. And it was like a love-hate thing when I was younger as well. Now it's like I quite enjoy it. I try to just enjoy it, enjoy writing music, I enjoy releasing it, enjoy playing it with my friends in the band. So yeah, enjoying it's the main thing for me.
I can only imagine, dude, that some of the feedback you've gotten, especially like at live shows when people come up and talk to you, man, the effect you're it's really cool, man, like kind of seeing your personality and how you function a little bit just like in this brief moment of talking. But like the music that you write, dude, when I knew that I was sitting down with you, I was like really hyper focused on your music for these past couple days. So I can like, you know what I mean? And it's so just big and powerful. Even the songs that are a little bit calmer and they don't have the heaviness, they're still heavy, dude. And like just the way that you craft the melodies with the atmosphere, I can't see how anybody can not listen to your music and be like, "Oh my God, dude." So I can imagine like the stuff that people say to you.
There is definitely people that do not like my music, believe me.
Fuck them. Yeah, dude.
Exactly, but yeah, you know, we always get t tagged as black metal. I always say this in interviews. We always get tagged as atmospheric black metal, and
Mhm.
I don't have an issue with it, but I don't claim that SAOR. That's a project name, by the way, SAOR. It's not
Sir.
SAOR. Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Uh,
Apologies.
no, it's okay. But I feel that it gets tagged as atmospheric black metal by the label and by magazines and stuff. You have to put a genre on a style. But I came up with the genre Caledonian metal as a kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of way of saying, listen, it's metal, but it's Scottish themes based around the themes of Scotland, Scotland's nature, history, the instrumentation, and obviously being from Scotland. So
Yeah, yeah.
I thought Caledonia, it's a romantic way of saying Scotland, basically. So Caledonian metal, I tagged it as because I don't think I don't go into writing music thinking I'm going to write black metal music.
Hmm.
I'm from a black metal background. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be elements because it's a genre I really enjoy listening to, and I've always enjoyed listening to. But I just go in and write music, and I don't think about genres. I know Sir's got its thing. It's got its style, and I've got my way of writing. But I always just go in, and if there's something kind of different that I want to do, I'm not too scared to do it. You have to kind of experiment. You have to do things that people might not like. You need to just go with your heart on these things. And I just go in and write music. And I'm a big music fan in terms of like all different types of styles. I mean, growing up, I listened to heavy metal, like Metallica, Iron Maiden, all these kind of bands when I was like a wee boy. and then I discovered extreme black death metal more in my teenage years.
Hmm.
Um, and after that, I kind of maybe in my 20s went off extreme metal a little bit. I always still listen to it, but I went to like explore new genres, I guess. Um, and I liked quite a lot of the kind of post-rock kind of stuff, and I listened to I listen to lots of classical music. I love movie soundtracks, as you can probably tell by listening to my music.
Yeah.
So I guess all these different influences, and also there's always something that people don't bring up. There's always like a rock element in my music as well. I've always loved, you know, I went through phases of liking metal and all different genres, but I've always loved just, rock music as well. And I like I grew up listening to sort of grunge as well, and I like the
Hmm.
attitude, the attitude and the kind of aggression of it. So if you actually listen to some riffs, you'd be surprised where these come from. Like it's not like it's 100% atmospheric black metal. There's just so many different genres that are exploring it, and this is why I would say that like my project probably stands out a little bit in the genre because it's not hyper focused on the black metal aspect. It's got so many different things going on. So yeah, I always say, these cult gatekeeping black metal dudes probably don't enjoy
Yes.
the lovely string parts and the melodies and the uplifting parts. But
Yeah.
there are
That,
open-minded music fans everywhere. So that's
yeah, they're like, that's not how you write a black metal song. What the fuck? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's so funny, man, because I was listening to Forgotten Paths, and as I'm listening to it, I think I got up to the song. I'm gonna probably say it wrong.
yeah,
Braun. So I got up. I'm listening to it, dude, and I'm like, I stopped for a little bit, and I can hear those like groovy rock riffs, man, to where it's like what you just said, because I was like, man, there's more here. But even when I've told people about the band, I never have said, "Oh, this is a black metal band."
yeah.
I just am like, it's a lot of influences of folk and metal to me personally, you know what I mean? But yeah, dude, I love that dude, and I love that and I think everybody should focus on that is you have to create what you want to create. You
Mm,
cannot it's nice when you write something and your buddy goes, "Hey man, that's fucking killer." But you almost got to like keep that at arm's reach because you'll start making stuff that appeal people instead of what really is inside you.
yeah. That's me in a nutshell, I guess. I don't really care what what people say to me, and sometimes that's a good thing and a bad thing, but
Yeah.
I just do what I do in my own terms. And um, it's funny because live shows as well, it's interesting because we do have a niche kind of um, genre that in festivals we can fit into. We'd fit into a folk metal festival quite
Mhm.
easily, and we would fit into a all-round metal festival. A black metal festival, they're the tricky ones because we have been offered black metal festivals and said no because it's all really satanic, dark bands, and then we're there, and I'm just thinking, yeah, it's good to have a little bit of diversity in music, but I'm like, these guys probably won't be into this stuff. So I'm very careful of where we play as well because as a kind of niche sound. And I do much more prefer playing our own shows, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I prefer that we're actually leaving today in a couple hours. We're going to play in Bristol in England tomorrow, so we're going to travel halfway there and probably drink a lot of beers on the way, which will be fun.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, just as I said, it's an interesting project. It's hard to see where it fits, and I don't think if any musicians are listening, that have starting projects and stuff, best advice I'd give, just do what you want. And people are going to not like it. And everyone hyper focuses on the negative. You're always going to get negative comments. It's the internet, it's a lot of losers that have no life that sit on the internet and want to write comments about talented people, they could never write anything like these people, and they want to say, "Oh, this sucks," like you know. And I'll admit, like even when I started the band, at least when I was like younger, I would take it to heart, but I don't really care anymore. Like it's you get over it. You just we're the ones playing the shows, we're the ones releasing the records, So any musician out there, if you're on a label, you release something, if you get any negative reviews, take it with a pinch of salt, it's subjective. Music's subjective. Like,
Hmm.
there's bands I don't like that are really successful and people are losing their mind over, and that's fine, you know? Uh, just yeah, touch grass, guys. Go out. And
Yeah.
don't let these kind of things annoy you because we definitely have our haters and I don't really care. I find it quite funny, to be honest with you, because I've never felt the need to go on the internet and comment on people bands' music, to
Oh
be honest
yeah.
with you. But yeah, just do what you want. That's my main advice.
It can be tough, man, because I also too I review a lot of music,
Hmm.
and there are times, man, where I hear something and I go, dude, listen, I appreciate that they are creating, but to me this is shit. Like, and I have
Uh,
to be, but I have to be mindful of because I would never want to tear someone down and like if I said, "Wow, you're shit," you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I have
Uh,
to find these ways around saying it nicely, like you know what I mean?
no, I
And
get it because obviously if you're reviewing bands, you're going to leave positive and negative reviews. You're going to
yeah,
have ones that are in the middle. That's just the way of it, and it's not.
hmm,
I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it. I'm saying as a musician, if you're believing your music and you're
yeah,
enjoying being the main part, enjoying what you're doing and expressing yourself, you know, you can take constructive criticism. If someone says, "Oh, wow, the production in this is pretty crap," whatever. Well,
yeah,
if you feel that way as well, next album, maybe try and get on another label, get a little bit of investment, create a better sounding record. But if you're happy with the way it sounds, who gives a shit? Like,
yeah,
you just yeah, like it's a weird thing being like a musician and putting stuff out because you're. I would say the majority of musicians are putting it out for themselves, for it's their expression, it's their art, you know.
hmm,
Um, and when it's out in the public, that's the funny part, is when people start saying, you suck or like this. With us, we get quite a lot of it's so soft. It's not black metal, and you just want to shout, "I know it's not black metal,"
it's,
you
it's
know?
not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, yeah. But you can go around and like you can lose your mind with this stuff. To be honest
Yeah,
with you, it's just quite funny. But yeah, hopefully, we'll still get good music, good young musicians coming through, and they can yeah, take my advice hopefully.
dude. But you know what, man? Just from me, because I can't. People can tell if I'm like bullshitting somebody, and it's really hard. But like with your project, I was again when they said, "Hey, do you want to talk to Andy?" I'm like, "Fuck yes, I want to talk to Andy because I genuinely love your music and I love the approach that you have and how it speaks." I did a review of the Sylvan Embrace, and dude, me personally, that song in the beginning, I felt like a song that had to slow me down because as I'm listening to it, it's beautiful, the flow, the ASMR type vocals where it's cool, man. It had the right effect.
Yeah,
And but at first I was really uncomfortable
yeah,
because of my own what I was feeling emotionally. And that song kind of like it kind of made me feel like I was kind of like maybe I was overthinking or I was and it had but halfway through and by the time the song was coming to its crescendo, I was able to calm down. And when I after it was over, I kept thinking Sylvan, like I've seen that word like in fantasy books and all types of things, but Sylvan, what is this? What does that mean? What does it really mean? So I went on this like rabbit hole of like the word Sylvan and it's really interesting, like kind of what I was reading about it. And I was like, man, that fucking describes like how I felt when I first heard that song of like coming into a clearing, you know, going through maybe some brush and some thorns because I felt that internally in my own soul kind of thing. And I love that though, man. And I love that music does that and provokes that kind of emotion. Um, because that leads to one thing I wanted to talk to you about is obviously being a lover of history and a lover of nature. Um, have you ever drawn like inspiration uh or or pull from like ancient text at all in your
No,
music
no,
with
just um poetry, as I said, like older poetry from like the 16, 17, 1800s. That's pretty much the only kind of
mm,
um lyrical kind of things that are from back then. I've never taken anything from like ancient like texts or anything like that. I've
yeah.
it's kind of like its own little world. It's all in my head. I just basically write inspired by the landscapes, mainly the nature, how it makes me feel, and um, also there are some historical things there, here and there. I touch on. You know, a lot of the poetry that I use touches on that as well. But at the end of the day, it's I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
like you've described all this the way you felt about listening to the music in the previous interviews as well. People were like asking me really deep questions, and I'm just like, I'm not a deep enough person like that to answer them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very like, I'm like, okay, here's the song. I'm going to write it. This is what the song's about. I'm going to then record it. I'm going to release it. I don't like sit and I don't want to call myself too down to earth, but maybe maybe that's true because I see all these like metal musicians that sit in interviews and they go so like in depth, this song is about this thing that happened and it's so deep and oh no, I'm
Dude,
like.
yeah.
Okay, mate, right. But if you're into that, you're into that. But I'm just, I just enjoy doing what I do. I'm very laid back, because I did an interview recently actually, and the girl sent me the questions the day before because she said I've got a lot to ask, so I'll forward you the questions. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is like a English essay. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't even answer half this shit. I don't even know what it means. Like. So we ended up just having an actual good conversation in the end. I said, let's just talk
Yeah.
and we'll see what it leads to. But yeah, I just enjoy it, man. I'm just a chilled dude. I like, you know, I like sitting with a beer, listening to music and
That's
being with friends and playing music. And I don't take life too seriously, man. We're only here for a short period of time,
mhm.
so we just
Yeah.
got to enjoy it.
It's kind of funny you say that, man, because you remember like when we were younger, there's like such an emphasis on like by 18 you got to have your life figured out and you got to know where you got to go and you got to blah blah blah. I'm 37 now and I'm like, damn, all I care about is I try to be a good man, right? I try to conduct myself in a good way, and I just want to have a good time and make good memories.
Yep.
I want to be 80 years old if I make it to 80, and I want to be able to look back and be like, man, look at all the fun shit we did. Look at all the cool things we did.
Mhm.
Like, and just like what you said, just be me.
Yeah.
And
I
if
think there's
you,
too many. I think there's too many inauthentic, uh, unauthentic people out there that are trying to portray themselves as something they really aren't deep down.
mm,
And you know, like I would say, you're saying about 18 and having this job and stuff. I mean, that's just insane to even think that's doable, really, unless a miracle happened. I got
mhm,
married in my, late 20s. I had my first kid in my ear- early 30s, and um, I would say the best. Um, Sorry, I'm actually talking shit. I was married in my early 30s as well. My wife's going to kill me. Um, but I think like it's funny. People go, "Oh, my 20s, they were the best time." I'm like, I absolutely hated my 20s. 20s were
Yeah,
the worst
me
because it was
too.
like you're starting to really get worried. You're like, "Shit, like I don't have my shit together." So in my 30s, I would say from 30 onwards, that's where life really like became a lot better. Like for me, and getting married, got a brilliant son that's like the best thing ever. And you change, your mentality changes as well. I used to be a very anxious and stressful person, and now I'm way too chilled. It's ridiculous. Like, and I think it's just because, you see something more important than you, and I want to obviously give him everything that I didn't have.
Yeah.
So, and it's weird, and I get to do this. I get to do music. I've always enjoyed doing music, and I've always been a passion, and I've always enjoyed songwriting. And when I was younger, reading magazines and stuff, and I used to be like, oh, how cool would it be to be touring on a tour bus and playing all these things? And I get to do that now, and it's really cool, and it's something, I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. Like,
Mm.
like music, like there'll be an end point where I go, I've done what I had to do, like, and I can look back and say, I wrote for me, I wrote really good albums. I've managed to play all these different countries, see all these different people, and it's something you can tell your child or children in the
Mhm.
future, like this is what I was doing, like when you were you were
Yeah,
younger,
man.
and it's pretty cool, and that's like a memory. It's like part of your life that you can say you've achieved something, and um, yeah, I think I appreciate everything more as well now. When I
Hmm.
get to go away and play. Obviously, I don't like being away from my family, but sometimes you need that little, that little break, just to chill and see your friends. So yeah, it's all good and everything's quite positive. I always have a positive mindset. I mean,
Yeah.
the other night we had our album launch in Glasgow and all our families were there and we're all nervous because we're playing the new album, all the tracks for the first time. Right, we have to get this right. We walked onto stage, played for 30 seconds and the PA blew in the venue. And
Oh
then we
my
had to
God.
walk, and it was 300 people there, and we had to walk right off again after, like, oh shit, like, and we had to stand for about 40 minutes behind a curtain waiting for them to fix the venue to fix the PA issue. But it's funny because I was just like, oh well, like, I can't do anything about this. They have to sort it.
Yeah.
And once it's sorted, we just go forward because I think everyone else was a bit nervous. So we just cracked open a beer. Let's chill
Yeah.
out. We'll go back on and we'll play the best show ever. And we played a great show 40 minutes later. So, these things happen.
Yeah, dude. It adds to the dramatic anticipation of the album, you know? You
Yeah,
thought you were ready.
that wasn't the intention, but hey, it happened.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. It is funny, man, talking about like growing up and like appreciating things more. I look at like how stressed out kids are. I looked at and not to get like cynical, not cynical, morbid or anything, but like I look at like 18-year, I even see teenage, the the numbers on like teenagers who are committing suicide because of they're just so overwhelmed with like life. And it's funny, I actually get messages from like 18-year-olds or whatever, and they'll message me and they'll say man, I need advice, dude, on life and whatever. And I'm like, dude, like, calm the fuck down. It's gonna
Yeah,
be okay. Calm the fuck down. Enjoy things, experience things. Like your life, man, it means so much, dude. And I can see, I relate to you on some points because like in my 20s, dude, my 20s were so heavy and so I just felt so ugh.
yeah.
And now I have like I've mellowed out a lot, and I just kind of go with the flow with things, and
I
I'm
think
glad
that
you.
I'm grateful that I grew up as a teenager in the early 2000s, to be honest with you. Like,
Hmm.
like I was very much you know before that, didn't have the internet and stuff. Actually went
Hmm.
outside and played with my friends and
Yeah.
actually went to gigs without phones and got to experience all this stuff before the internet made everyone like mentally like incapable of doing the basic things. And I reckon it's been a gift, it's been a great gift and a terrible thing as well, the internet.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel that that's a lot to do. Social media specifically is bad for like kids, and I know Australia actually banned it, didn't they, for under 16s or something like that, which I would completely get behind because it's fake. Everything on it's fake. All the people on it are fake. All the likes are fake. There's bots everywhere. You do not know
Mhm.
what's real. You don't, and people get really, you get the, especially I feel in like girls, like they really they feel the pressure of that, seeing these models and stuff like that, and we have to look like that, and they don't know these models have got filters on them, on their photos, and they're, everything's just fake. Like this is why I say people they need to get outdoors, go play football, go hill walking, do more sports, and I've started going to the gym in the last 2 years, and I would say that's another thing that's really, really been positive in my life to make me feel healthy and mentally
Yeah.
stronger. That like and I feel a lot of maybe teenagers, not all, but a lot, probably have too much time sitting in front of screens, playing games or on the internet or whatever the hell they're doing. So I can see why there's as you said, like people mess it. And I think every teenager feels that way as well. Like if they see someone they respect and they'll say, "Oh, can you tell me like some advice?" And if they ask me, I'd be like, I don't have any of it. I think things randomly happen, and if you work hard enough, some things work out, some things don't. I couldn't really give too much advice. I would just say chill out, as you said. We live in a time when you've got a roof over your head. Usually, most people do. A roof over
Hmm.
your head, you've got food on the table, you've got electricity, you've got, the internet with all the information in the world that you need. We're living in probably one of the best times ever in that
Yeah.
aspect. So, um, they just need to take a chill pill. And
Yeah.
you know, I think there's too
They're
much.
taking pills, dude. They're definitely taking pills.
I believe you. I believe you. Uh,
It's I'm with you, man. I think that's why have you noticed the rise in people they're tapping into like spiritualities that were typically kind of taboo. Like I remember dude growing up, and if somebody talked about witchcraft or Wiccan or whatever, they're like, "Oh my, we don't talk about that." Now you go out and five people are, "Oh, I'm a Wiccan," or I follow pagan beliefs or different cultures and whatever. And if you if you really pay attention, there is a cry in people where they're going, we need simplicity. We need to get back to things. We need to, like, I feel like people feel lost. They feel
yeah.
fucking lost and they're overwhelmed and they're making life way harder than what it is. That's probably why you get so many emotional responses, man, because your music.
People feel lost by design as well, by
Mhm.
these crazy people in power, and there's another level of society above us. Not to get too conspiracy theory,
Get
but
get get it, dude.
um, you know, um, you see all the political things, you see all the celebrities, you see all this and that, and it's easy to get really lost in that and lose, all common sense, and
Hmm.
I think a lot of it's designed to be like that, to make us all hate each other and to cause all these rifts between society. And I think that people have a lot more in common than they have, they don't. So like, you know, go and meet friends, go hill walking with them, go camping with them, go the sports with them, go write music with them, go do all these things, and you'll be a lot happier, instead of obsessing over things that essentially we can't really change,
Yeah.
unfortunately, at the moment. But we,
Yeah.
it's a weird time, and going back to when you talked about like teenagers, you know what I wish in school they taught us, and they still don't do this, like like mortgages, like money management, like owning
They
a
don't
house
do
and
it.
paying bills. They never do it, and I think that's crazy as well. Like, but you can go deep down in this conversation. There's so many layers to it. You'd be here for hours, and I'd just end up ranting. So,
Yeah, dude, well, we might have to after you do a few shows and do some touring, we might have to do a maybe like an extended conversation or whatever. And I think people would enjoy it, man, because I'm with
definitely,
you, dude. I'm so with you. I've had to learn to calm down in my own self, and because of that, that's changed my perspective of life, and that's really, yeah, man. If you were to tell me what I think is important now, if you were to tell that to me when I was 20 years old, I would laugh at you.
yeah, same,
You know, because I grew up also too very religious,
yeah,
like die hard. I grew up in a Christian home, and things change,
yeah,
perspective changes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think like when I was like a teenager and then you discovered all these extreme metal acts, I became very anti-religious because
Yeah.
that's what it was something, back then, like the anti-Christian thing,
Hmm.
seemed a bit cool. It was like, wow, they're railing against society and all that.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of cheesy to me, in a way. It's like, okay, that's been done to death. But um yeah, like teenage 20, early 20s, you're a bit full of angst and, you're
Hmm.
angry at the world. And I think, my advice would be things do calm down and heal, and you just need to
Yeah.
find your kind of place in life, and hopefully you'll end up meeting someone that you enjoy being with. You can get married, you can, have your own place, you can go on holidays, you can go and do all these kind of things.
Yeah.
Things do work out, and when you're that young, you feel like the end is, it's like I have nothing in life and nothing's going to change, and I guess that's just the stereotypical teenager slash person in
Yeah.
their early 20s.
Yeah.
They feel a bit lost, and yeah, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, man. Again, dude, I think it comes back to a person. I think everybody has like some type of fire inside of them to do something. And it's not for me to say what it is. You knew, man, I want to make music, and you took the steps to do it. And I'm sure that there were tons of years where you were falling and stumbling and feeling like, "Oh my God."
Yeah,
That's not what everybody sees.
yeah,
But if everybody would stop looking around at what everybody is fucking saying and for them to do, and they would look inside and go, "What makes me me?" Okay, well, I love drawing. I love photography. I love being a car salesman. I don't know. Like,
yeah, yeah,
chase that shit, man. And you're gonna find your people. Your people will come out of that.
yeah, exactly. Like I don't know how many times, where even in like your 20s that people. Well, I say people, like if your ex-girlfriend or something. Not
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
have any. No, I'm all joking. But they would say, oh, music, you need to find something real to do, like music. Like you should be working 9 to 5, Monday to
Yeah.
fucking Saturday in front of and you're like, shut up. You're like,
Yeah.
that's why you're depressed, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, people need to do that to survive, but you should still have something um in the side, that
Yeah.
you're really passionate about. And if that gets successful, then you can drop your hours at work and you can focus on that more. And then you never know where that'll take you to. And I would just say like, as you said, find your passion and go with it. And there's no point of wasting away and just not doing things because like you're only here once and you have to
Yeah.
make your mark. And I think there's a lot of people that kind of you know they buy into all this pressure that they have to be 25 with the good job and the house and the fancy car and the blah blah
And a
blah 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 blah
millionaire.
blah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and a millionaire. Dude, I wish I was a millionaire. You know,
I know.
then I could quit music and I could just fly away to the north in an island and not speak to anyone. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
But
dude.
unfortunately, we're not there yet. But who knows? Maybe this album will get so popular that I'll become a millionaire. And
Everybody buy this album.
when the Spotify royalties come in, you never know.
Yeah, 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 for real. Oh my God, man. Dude, I am excited, man, to see just to really dive into it more and more in depth and just I think this year, is such a great year for music. You guys dropped a new album. I thought last year was a good year for music, but I feel like 2025, man, is going to be amazing, dude. What are you listening to now? Like, is there certain albums or bands that you're listening to?
Let me think. Um, See, this is the issue, as you'll know, being a parent. You still seem to find the time, but I just don't find the time to like
Yeah.
sit and listen to new stuff. But if something pops up, I'll listen to it. So I guess I've been listening to a band called Silhouette from France. Um,
Mm.
they're sort of post black metal slash ethereal kind of female vocals.
Okay.
So that's something that's new, I guess, that I've really enjoyed. But you should see my Spotify playlist. It's ridiculous. It's like because I share it with my wife as well, and she's into all this weird stuff like country music and stuff. So
Oh
whenever I get
God.
whenever I get my Spotify Wrapped, it's like it's like fucking Dark Throne, Peppa Pig, like country music, like all this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but other new stuff, I can't think off the top of my head what else I've been listening to. Been listening to like these on YouTube. I found these this is going to sound really weird, but there's these videos and it's a channel and the guy has like these Knight Templars on the pictures and it's all these
Uh-huh.
kind of chanting, like it's very
Yeah.
relaxing, like Gregorian
Dude, I
almost
listen to
chant.
that shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if I'm
Yeah.
trying to relax, I put that on and I'm like, this is cool. But apart from that, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm in an angry mood, which is very rare these days, I'll put some like metal fast and furious stuff on. If I'm in a calm mood, I'll put that kind of stuff on.
Yeah.
A funny story when we were on we went on tour with Gal, Gal from Gal's Word
Okay,
or
okay.
weird. I don't know how you say it. We were on tour with them across Europe, and there was a strict no metal policy on the bus. No metal music's to be played because every day you're surrounded by metal music on stage. You want
Oh, okay.
that, you want that sort of peacefulness, I guess. And we were listening to all these crazy things like 80s pop and stuff like that. And it's funny because people probably have this mentality that these dudes from Norway are like this evil, listen to black metal 24/7. And
They
there's
come off
like,
the bus listening to ABBA.
there's Madonna playing on the bus. Like,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But actually, so on that tour, um, I had just discovered Kate Bush, believe it or not. Or I knew who she was, but I just discovered her music, and it
Uh-huh.
was her first album. Because I knew some of the songs from the later albums, but the first album, and that was constant rotation in that whole tour. And I don't know why, I just needed that something else,
Hmm.
and I just always listening to it every night before I was like trying to go to sleep in these tiny little bunks on the bed.
Hmm.
It was like that, right? And I would just zone out and listen to it, and I really loved that. So, people would find that very weird that I listen to that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do still now and again listen to some of the classic, metal albums, black metal albums. But you know, I'm a music fan first,
Yeah.
you know. So
I had a friend of mine talk to me, and he primarily does like folk music. He creates folk and everything, and he'll look at like my Instagram, and I post like I'm listening to guttural disgorge and shit, and him and I we got a good bond. But he goes, Tommy, I have to be careful because I feel like there could be some kind of like energy that comes off metal music or whatever. And I told him, I said, for me, metal is my expression to the world. It is my voice out. But when I'm alone, like I'm sometimes not listening to metal. Sometimes I'm listening to folk you said soundtracks. Dude, I fucking love soundtracks and I can just get lost in those, man. And yeah, man, I thought it was funny because like my quiet of my heart is calm,
yeah.
but my outward expression is rage.
I guess that's sort of in our music as well.
Yeah.
It's got the blast beats, it's got the chaotic kind of aspects of the metal, black metal, if you want to call it that. But it's got the sort of beauty of the soundtrack. It's got the folk instruments creating these melodies, and it's a bit of a odd mix, but it works in a way. Yeah, I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited, man. I've done some reviews of some of the songs and everything, and I cannot wait to like I said, dive into it more and just push it out there, man. I'm that kind of person. I love listening and I love fucking pushing it out. Listen, listen, listen. So, Andy, man, you should see my phone and the questions I had for you, and we did not talk about any of them.
Oh well.
I
It's
love
be
it, dude.
it's better this way because you know we both had a better time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This was awesome, dude. It's always a little nerve-wracking sitting down with somebody that you've never talked to for the first time, and you kind of like, but you're fucking awesome, man. I'm excited for this album. I'm excited for people to really experience it. And we'll set up something else. We got to do a conspiracy theory rant or something.
Oh, that sounds good. We'll have to do
Let's
that.
fucking do it. Awesome.